have nothing to do with the internet. No, never mind.
I'm going to switch back to the form.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what we're talking about. All right.
Hey, it's Thursday again. It's funny, it happens every week. I'm gonna open one more window to cut down on the echo. Talk amongst yourself, Cass.
Hi, I'm Cassie, one of your hosts this week, every week.
Yeah, and I'm Nicole. There, it's a little bit better here. And this is Tech Thursday, where we sit around and talk about something technical for approximately 20 to 30 minutes.
Woohoo. This week we're talking about a little thing called Gravity Forms, which if you've been to a website or ordered something online ever, you've probably filled out a form.
It's true.
Some forms are better than others.
Absolutely. I feel like forms, it's kind of like, like the whole put a bird on it. But with a website, I feel like saying put a form on it. Because forms, like birds on artistic objects, work for just about everything, actually. Okay, maybe not everything, but they're pretty useful, and I feel like they're underused by our society.
Noted.
Noted.
I have no strong feelings about forms.
I apparently have stronger feelings about forms than the average person, but hey, that is to be expected.
Yeah, so for WordPress sites especially, one cool thing that I kind of learned about as I started helping out with the website stuff was Gravity Forms. And it kind of struck me the other day just how you can use a form to accomplish just about anything. It doesn't have to be just for shopping stuff. There's like thousands of other things you can do with a form.
And I feel about just about any kind of website someone would purchase with, I would have an idea of a form that we could put on their site to make it better and more effective. Like, honestly, I'm not just saying that. I mean, there's tons of uses. So the software we use a lot is called Gravity Forms, and it's a WordPress plugin. It's a premium plugin. I think our developer's license is like something like a few $100 a year, but you can get an individual site license, I think, for under $50. So in terms of what you think about this form could help you do, it could definitely make its money back, probably in the course of a couple of form fill outs, maybe even one form fill out, depending on what you're selling. So, but there's other form software too, but Gravity Forms we really like for WordPress sites. We think it's really good.
Yes. Yeah, so I guess like if you want to just start at the bare minimum of any, like the every website contact form.
Yes.
Every website could use a contact form. And I guess it could be as simple as like a name and email and like text field. If you really just want to someone could just fill out, write you a little message and say hi. And that's it.
And by the way, the reason people do that is because if you have your email address on the internet, on a web page, what happens is a lot of spam people came up with these, scripts or something that would go through. They would find anything that was blah@blah.blah. Okay, that's an email address format. Anything that was formatted like that, they would take it and put it in a database. And suddenly you're getting emails for UGG boots for sale and penis enlargement, or at least I did. Maybe you got different ones, but I somehow got on those two lists. So the reason they put a contact form is that it's a way to email through your website without having to put your email address on a website for someone to take your email address and suddenly send you all this spammy crap that you don't want.
I got on one for free Canadian medicine, which is weird. It was just all these prescriptions from Canada. I was like, I don't want your drugs, Canada.
Did you fill out some form that you were like trying to think? Maybe they think you're like.
It was in college. Yeah.
It was in college. I don't know.
Strange things.
Yeah. So contact form can be basic, but also like if you're gonna, let's say you were selling something and you wanted to follow up with someone. Sometimes collecting information, maybe a little bit more, can be useful. Not a ton. Like you don't have to make this form so long that no one ever wants to fill it out. But let's say that you're a coffee shop and you have 3 locations, right? So maybe a piece of information you want to collect is there's a little drop down and people can pick between the 3 locations. That way, when you get that little question about a menu item or something, you can forward it to the manager at the Bar Harbor location, or the manager at the Bangor location, or the manager at the Ellsworth location. So there's just some little bits of information that allow you to follow up better if you have them based on your business. So adding them to your contact form isn't that much extra work for the person filling it out, but it helps you follow up with them more easily and more effectively. So yeah, you can use the default thing that comes with the form, or you can think a little bit further. We encourage you to think a little bit further.
Agreed. Yep. Let's see which one next.
So many options. Well, another thing you can do, so there's contacting, and then there's people who are contacting you for a specific reason. So we've had people, want to set up applications, for example, on their website, job applications, because, for a number of reasons, really. First of all, most people don't have printers. Like most normal people don't have a printer at their house because we have so little need to print things off anymore. I know that when I was in college, I had a printer. And when I started this business, I had a printer, but I did a little Facebook survey of my Facebook friends, and I had 45 people respond, and of them, 6 people had printers. 5 of them own their own business of those 6 people. So the rest of them did not have a printer at their house. They either used the printer they had at work, so it's occasionally if you print something out, you just print it off at work, or they went to some kind of printer place and printed it out. But it happened so rarely that they didn't feel a need to own a piece of equipment that took up a couple square feet of their desk. So having an application on a website, especially if you're hiring the kind of people who maybe don't have printers at home, or maybe a printer is hard to come by, has them more easily, they can fill it out on your website and you can get it without them having to print it off.
Yes. Well, I think I saw something Okay. In terms of job applications, a lot of time people will ask for social security number and stuff like that. If you're not, you don't necessarily have to have that field on there quite yet.
Yeah.
Personally, I have an issue putting my social security number on anything online.
Even in real life, as I'm writing it on the paper, I'm thinking, where the hell is this paper gonna live? It's gonna sit on someone's desk and people are gonna walk by it and see my social security number. I hate writing it down unless I absolutely have to.
Yeah. So unless I'm hired,
Yeah, someone doesn't, need to know that necessarily. But there's no reason that you can't collect someone's work experience and their general contact info and all that. When you're ready to make the hire, you can collect that sensitive information, say their bank account number if they want to do a direct deposit with their check, that kind of thing. But I guess you can also be super safe. And like I said, Cassie doesn't want to fill it out. I don't want to fill it out either. But if you insist on having it on there, at least encrypt the form, because or at least encrypt that field. It's kind of like when you fill out something, and we'll get to payments later. You don't want your credit card number sitting on some website, or you don't want your credit card number sitting on someone's printer or something like that. And you certainly, like I said, don't want your social security number is as sensitive, if not more sensitive, than your your credit card, because it's one thing to get a new credit card, it's another thing to get a new social security number.
I don't even think you can do that, unless you're in witness protection or something.
Yeah, I think it has to be a pretty extreme circumstance to do that. So anyway, if
I don't even know if you get a new one then.
That's true. Yeah, maybe you just keep your same old one and then you just change your name.
I don't know how the government works.
Yeah, why aren't someone from the Witness Protection Program? Just feel free to talk to us. Tell us how it is.
Tell us your life story.
Absolutely.
And I think too with websites, like if you are taking in certain information like social security numbers or payment stuff, like I think you're legally required to take some security measures. And if it gets compromised and they find out that you weren't like encrypting stuff, like you could get in some trouble.
Yeah. So the best thing to do is use the application rather than like having someone have to like come in, pick up a form that's been. Why is it that applications are always photocopied slightly off? Like it always looks
I just
like
picture like some disgruntled secretary, like, oh my god, like I have so many other things I need to be doing right now, or like a person that, or like someone just in a rush.
I've never seen like a really crisp application form, but and I don't know why that is. But anyway, rather than making people come in, pick it up, fill it in with pay it, drop it off, and hope that you get it. Just have it go on your website, and you can have different application forms go to different people. So like same example, if you have multiple locations, you have multiple managers, if someone is filling out one, here's, I want to work in the kitchen of the restaurant, it gets sent to the kitchen manager. If you want to work at the front of the house, it gets sent to the front of the house manager. So you can set things up that way. So not only does it make it convenient for the person filling it out, but it makes it convenient for the person getting the information too, which is you. It's nice to do things for customers, but you might as well do things for yourself too.
Yeah.
So we have contact, and then we have an application form. But also there are some forms that people don't really have to fill out, but we'd like to encourage them to fill out, right? And there's a few things in this vein. One of them is like a reservation form. So we have this one client, they're a kayak company. And when we were building the site, we wanted to build in a paid reservation system. He didn't want to do it. He's like, I don't want to take people's credit cards on the website. He was just very adamant about not doing it. But he was open to the idea that it might be 10:30 at night. I might be researching a vacation, and I might want to put in a reservation for a trip while I'm looking at the website. So basically we made a reservation form that took everything but the payment. And then it got emailed to the person, and then somebody from the office calls them back, gets their credit card number. So I don't know why that works, but it does work for this particular company. And he did tell me after, so his old website it was just like a contact form, then they had to follow up after. And then they have to be like, oh, how many people are in your party? Oh, what time did you want to go at on this day? So rather than having to have that conversation on the phone, they had the whole thing in front of them, and all they had to do was just confirm there was enough space and take the payment, and they were done. So their booking requests were up the year that we put that online because people were able to do something. They were able to take an action to make the reservation. So you can set up booking and that kind of thing without taking payment. It is possible. It seems weird for someone like me that you want to do that, but it's totally possible because it's saving you time on the phone.
Yeah. And
it's letting them think about, I don't know about you, but I get emails at weird time. I'm like, why is someone looking at this at 1:30 in the morning? When we are far from being open, but they are, and letting them take some kind of action, make a booking, make a restaurant reservation, make, I don't know, any kind of I want to reserve this ahead of time kind of thing. Even if you don't want to take payment, letting them do it through a form is a good way to save you money and capture their interest while they're interested.
Yes. Yeah. I'm one of those people that it's definitely an off hours sort of person. And I feel like when you're typically a 9 to 5 or an 8 to 4 person, you don't necessarily have the time in your day to contact other businesses that are also that time frame.
Yeah, absolutely.
And also I get weird ideas to do adventurous things at 2:30 p.m. And I don't necessarily want to pay for it right then, but maybe I'd like to bookmark it as a possibility.
Right, and you want to let them know you're interested so they save you a spot.
Yes.
Yeah, you want to feel I think we all want to feel especially when we're planning stuff, that okay, the ball's in their court. And when you fill out a form that's really detailed, that's like taking a booking, you feel like, okay, I checked that off.
A satisfactory action.
Yeah, it feels like you did something. And we all want to feel that, like, okay, now the ball's in their court. Especially if, the thank you page says, we'll call you within 24 hours to schedule payment, to take payment or whatever. So there is something to be said, even if you don't want to do payment stuff on your own website for any of the reasons you don't want to do that. There is a way that you can let people sort of buy from you just short of making the payment.
But what if you do want to take payment?
Well,
Dun, dun, dun.
You can do that with these forms. A lot of form software will let you, work with your existing online payment processor, whether that's PayPal Pro or whether that's Stripe or whether that's Braintree Payments or whatever. A lot of them work with a lot of different processors.
Mm-hmm.
I think Gravity Forms definitely, I know, works with PayPal Pro, Stripe, and I think regular PayPal. I think you can let people pay by regular PayPal, not PayPal Pro. I'm not entirely sure. I'm not super, like, in terms of things I know about, I feel like PayPal, I'm probably at like a 4 of, knowledge of 10. I feel like I could probably know a lot more about PayPal, but
payment gateways in general are just
basically
there's
like
nothing going on up here.
it's just like basically what you're doing is you're giving them a form that's encrypted so that they can put the payment information, and then it interfaces with whatever online processor that you're going to use to take the payment. And that processor is going to take their 2 to 3% cut, whatever it is, typically. But a lot of people come to us and they say, well, I need an online shopping cart. And like when you think about a cart, or people use the word cart to mean I want a way to buy something, right? But when I think of an online shopping cart, I think of
like a store.
Yeah, I think of like, okay, and think about like the stores that you go to. I think about being able to put multiple things. I think when I'm looking at it, there's like a review section, of like the different, I think of the thing on the side that customers who bought this also bought this other thing, related products, cross-selling and upselling. To me, like a cart is like, you have a lot of different things you could be selling to a lot of different kinds of people. And to me, like, honestly, a lot of people come to us and they've self-published a book, or like they're selling gift certificates. And they don't need a whole cart for that. They just need a way that people can buy it online. They need a form that takes a payment. So you can totally set that up with form software without having to go through the whole thing about setting up a cart. You don't have to set up shipping rules and, tax code. Well, you probably do need to think about taxes, but there's
dimensions.
Dimensions of, exactly.
Weight.
Yeah, if you're shipping one thing, or just multiples of that one thing, you can have the option be, I want to buy one thing, or I want to buy a case of the one thing for, like some easy like amount for you to sell, right? Of course, if they want to buy 3 and they want to pay to ship 3 different books, whatever, let them, as long as you're making the money. But yeah, so the online payment form really helps people make that transaction. Otherwise, then it's like, oh, well, message me on Facebook and
and you're like on the holy grail of I just wanted to sell this one thing.
Like, so an example of this where a payment form could be very useful is Derek is trying to sell this class to this woman in Australia on Instagram.
Oh,
it is the most painful thing that not the most painful thing. So my husband's a glass blower. He made a glass, posted it on Instagram. This woman in Australia is like, oh, I want it. So then it's like, what's your address? And then it's like, then he has to check how much shipping is and whatever. Whereas like this form, we could have just been like, international shipping, like $25 or something. And there wouldn't have been all this back and forth. So I believe now he has her address and that she wants the glass. But now she has to PayPal him the money and then he's gonna ship it. But it's like, this is so painful. Like, I'm just like watching this being like, oh, I could make you a form. I feel like I wanna write a song called I Could Make You a Form. I'm gonna do it. I wish I had musical talent because I feel like I have a songwriter inside me, but I don't have the musical talent to execute me my ideas.
The other cool thing, if you just have like a donation form, if like you're a nonprofit,
Yes.
you can have different set amounts, which you've seen, but you can also have people like a little like enter your own donation amount. So like maybe I'm kind of broke and I want to give you some money, but I only have like $5. Like, why would you not take that $5 from me?
Right.
So
No, it's
I don't know
true.
why I just suddenly got defensive about being poor, but
No, there's something wrong with the $5, I mean, everything helps. And the donation I always think of is like one of the nonprofits we worked with got a $90 donation once. So I was like, okay, if they had 50 and 100, the person would have picked 50, right? But they had it open-ended, so they put $90. And I was like, you know what? That's $40, or, you know, maybe if they would have had 50, 75, 100 or whatever. But sometimes placing those restrictions, they would have lost $50, you know, they would have lost some money.
And there's nothing, like you'd have like the 50, 75, 100 enter your own
It's true.
desired amount. So like if you
No,
give
it's true.
the structured people some structure, and then the other people who maybe just want to make you a payment of like, I don't know, like $67.55. I don't know why, but some people might want to do that.
Right. And who are you to judge them? They want to give you money. Just, you know,
Just
thank you.
Take the money and shut up.
Yeah. Well, and the other cool thing with Gravity Forms is there's this add-on that allows you to take recurring payments. So, for example, I think a lot of public radio stations have like, or I'm sure other things too, but I think of my local public radio station has its evergreen, whatever, and you can say, oh, I want to give $5 a month and have it automatically like taken into my whatever. So you can actually set something up like that up so that people are giving recurring, you know, ideally smaller amounts every month instead of like one big amount at a time. So so that's possible too. So you could set up, you know, even if you were a for-profit business, like, and maybe you wanted someone to be in your, I don't know, cake of the month club. If you're baking cakes, you know, they're in your cake of the month club for whatever, $50 a month, and like every month you bake them a cake and they're in your cake of the month plan until they unenroll. And then of course those payments stop. But having the recurring payments, I think, is it's pretty powerful. Not, you know, as a donation or as some kind of membership website type product. So you can do that with forms because forms are cool.
Other cool thing, if you just kind of want to put a survey or like questionnaire sort of thing out to the universe or your customers or both, you can set that up. There's like little drop down field. I don't know how you want to set it up, but you might just want to do that.
Right, and if you're trying to get an opinion on something, and I feel like sometimes, and I'm guilty of this, like you have an idea and you just want to barrel ahead. I mean, at least I do. I get these ideas and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna do it. But I could have taken like 5 minutes and actually found out if my customers thought this was a good idea before I invested all this into it. So, you know, if you were a restaurant, you were trying to decide whether to have a kids menu or not. I mean, this could be a very quick survey to your customers saying, you know,
Could be like a yes or no.
yeah, should we have a kids menu? If we do have a kids menu, what one item should we definitely offer on the kids, you know, whatever. It could be a very short little thing. You could collect the information, and rather than you guessing that people want a kids menu, you could find out maybe that your customers just want smaller portions of what they're already having at the restaurant for their kids, you know? Mm-hmm. Or you could find that they want you to serve chicken fingers, and then you add that. And then rather than you guessing, you let your customers tell you what they want. And I will say though, if you're gonna make someone, if you have like this very in-depth survey, I can't tell you how many of these I filled out for free for graduate students and stuff. Do you get stuck with these sometimes? I get these emails and it's like, hey, I'm in this grad school class and I need you to take this survey. I probably do this like once a week. And I'm like, geez, like, okay, I'm getting like nothing out of this. Like, you're not you're in graduate school. I'm filling this out because I'm feeling like a nice person. Or you get into it and you fill out one page and then you go to the next page and it's like 2 of 12. And you're like, holy crap, like I don't have 25 minutes to spend on the survey. So sometimes what people do is they say, hey, if you finish the survey, we'll enter you into a drawing to get a gift card. then at least maybe I have the chance of winning a $100 gift card to someplace I want to go to. You know, it's just like a nice little gesture. I'm not expecting $100 to fill it out, but at least there's a possibility of me getting something for spending 20 minutes rating how I feel about my underwear. That's literally a survey I filled out the other day. One of my friends was starting like this fake underwear company. She's in grad school and she wanted us to do a survey, and so I did. And I was like, oh my God, like, I can't believe I'm doing this right now. But if she would have given me a gift card to a nice underwear store, or the potential of that happening, I may have felt a little less ridiculous spending 20 minutes filling out that survey. But I did apparently have opinions on it. Who knew? Who knew?
Yeah, sometimes you don't know until you're in it. In more ways than one. Yeah, the other cool thing about gravity forms that I've noticed is you can really customize them so it doesn't look super strange on your website.
It's true. It does take.
It's like a chameleon.
Yeah, and it's true. It does take the styling cues from the from a lot of your CSS, and you can style the buttons like this, and you can make the submit button say woohoo I'm in, so someone clicks woohoo I'm in, and that submits the form. I mean, you can, you know, you can make the writing, instead of appearing like, so it says name and then the little name field is below, you can make it appear below it. I mean, you can, like Cassie says, make it look exactly how you want it to look, and have a fair bit of freedom in there to do that. And yeah, it's good. It's good software. It's drag and drop. And the other thing I like about Gravity Forms too, in particular, it stores a copy of every entry on your website. So, for example, I fill out the contact form. One entry gets saved on the website, the other one gets emailed. Now, what happens if you accidentally delete your email? Well, if the form was only sent via email, you're a little bit out of luck. But since there's a copy also on the website, it's kind of like a little bit of an insurance policy. You could go back and look at it if you need to.
Or if your email is down for some reason.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And that happened to one of our clients. Their email was down for 4 days, and we were able to go and get everything that was filled out in those 4 days and get it resent to them when their email was working. That's a good point. Because sometimes, yeah, things do stop working. And it's nice to have a backup. So, yeah. So forms, put a form on it.
Yeah. So, hopefully you got some ideas of ways you can use forms if you're not already. Or even if you are, maybe some new ways that you can throw some stuff out there. If you have any ideas for our next Tech Thursday, please leave us a comment or visit our website at breakinghumaning.com. We're looking forward to hearing from you.
Absolutely.
About Tech Thursday.
About Tech Thursday. Absolutely.
And yeah, we will see you all next week.
Awesome. Have a great week, guys. Bye.